Sri Sai Ram. Hearty welcome to Sri Satya Sai Lokaseva Gurukulam mathematics class, statistics. Topic: data and their representation. Today we will see something about graphical representation. In the first part, we have seen definition of statistics. What is statistics? It's a branch of mathematics which deals with the collection of data, presentation of data, analysis and interpretation of data. It's a very important branch. Also, we have seen the importance of the statistics in the daily life, like in the field of cricket or any matches for that matter, the rainfall, the temperature ranges and so on, is it not? And also you have seen about presentation of data, and that data may be a raw score as it is, and if it is arranged in the ascending or descending order, that is called arrayed data. It may be ascending order or descending. Arrayed means arranged. And also you have seen what is called as ungrouped frequency table. It is a table showing the frequencies. Frequency means what? Number of repetitions for the data. Maybe 3 or 5 or 10 like that. Okay. That is ungrouped. Means as it is. The same thing if you bring into groups, we call it as grouped frequency table. And then we use what is called as class interval. In a grouped frequency table, we use class intervals of different size. Say size of 5, size of 10, and depends upon the data collected. Okay. So we divide into class intervals. In that class interval, you have to mark what is called as tallies. The total of the tallies will represent what is called as frequency. And we will have a very good information about the data collected. Okay. And lastly, we have seen cumulative frequency table. Cumulative means adding of the frequencies. The last column, what you get frequency, it add the frequencies. Then you get what is called as cumulative frequency. It is very helpful in the present day world. As you know, most of the informations will be presented in the form of what is called as the bar graphs or sector graph, etc., etc. It gives a very good details about that. Now, let us see the assignment what you have done in the last class. 30 students of class 9th appeared for a mathematics Olympiad. Olympiad is a test conducted by usually national level, and sometimes they conduct in the state level also. The marks obtained by them are given as follows. This is the marks. And construct a grouped frequency distribution of the data using the classes. This is called class interval 0 to 9, 10 to 19, etc. Find the number of students who scored more than 49 It means you must see the frequency of that group. Okay, so now let us work out this. So this is a question, I think some of you have already worked out. Is it not? It is a 3 marks question. So let us work out now. I think all of you have done it now. What you have to do is class intervals. You are given that the class interval must be 0 to 9. What is the size of the class interval? It will be 10. Okay. So class intervals will be 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 19, 29, etc. up to 90 to 99. And then what you will do? Tallies. Tallies means you must see what this 46 belongs. 46 belongs to here. That you have to mark it. And then 31. 31 will be here. Then 74. 74 will be here in this class interval. Like that, go on putting tallies. Okay. After that, you must write how many tallies are there in that class interval. In the first class interval, you have one frequency. We call it as frequencies. So here this is 2, this is 1, this is 2, 5, 6, 6, 4, 2, 1. And if you add it, it should be 30. This is what is called as frequency distribution of a grouped data. This is what is called as grouped data. And number of repetitions here will come as frequencies. And you have to add it. This is what you write it as small f. We study that in detail next. So n means sigma of f. Sigma means sum total of all this f. Is it all right? I think you will note down and write the tallies. And for every mark you must go on marking like this, and then you get the correct tallies. Is it okay? Okay, now coming to the next question. Next, today's topic is graphical representation of data. So what you have done so far is only arranging in a table, right? Now the same thing if you represent in graphics. Nowadays this is the world of graphics. Wherever you go, we will find lot of graphics, na? That gives a, so that represent is more convenient for the purpose of comparison among the individual items. For example, the marks scored by different subjects or results of the school in a taluk or in a district, a number of Hindus, Muslim, Christians, etc. in a village, like that. You know, that should be represented in form of graphs. There are two types here. One of them is called bar chart. It is one of the graphical representation of numerical data. So it is a representation that the graph itself will show the data, and it should be group data. For example, the following figure represent the data given by the table regarding the blood groups. All of you know that we have got blood in our body, about 4.5 liters, is it not? And our, food becoming blood itself is a God's grace. And every individual has his own blood group. They are named as A group, B group, AB group and O group. And O group is usually called as donor group, suitable for all type of patients. So the students who have that groups, A group have 13 students, B group 9 students. So this is to be represented by means of a chart called as bar chart. What is bar chart? So it may be vertical like this, or it may be horizontal also. Okay. So what is written here is blood group on the x-axis. This is called x-axis. This is called y-axis. you must have a suitable scale. And what about the width? You can have a convenient width, say of 1 centimeter or half centimeter, whichever is convenient. And while writing this number of students, here there are only 13 is a maximum. So up to 13 you can have. Here it is up to 14 we are drawn. So depending on the students, we will draw this y-axis. X-axis shows the blood groups, and this is the intervals, class interval of A, B, etc. So first you must divide it into a suitable scale, say of 1 centimeter each, and the depth, the breadth may be about, this is a rectangle, I think all of you know it, rectangle. This is the length and this is the breadth. The breadth is the size of the class interval. And what does this show? By this graph you can make out that students having blood A group are highest, and student having AB group is the lowest. The graph itself shows. It's a very beautiful way of presenting the figures or facts or numerical data. Okay, so that is how it is very helpful. And let us work out some more problems on this, and how to draw that graph, bar graph. This is called bar graph because there will be bars. First of all, decide on a title for your graph. Just now you have seen about the blood groups. Similarly, you can have for a newspaper distribution. In a town, you know, the lot of newspapers will come, and then which paper is given or which paper is sold maximum. So like that, you have to give a name for that. For example, has a given blood group, it may be results of a school, it may be the crops in a particular village, or it may be newspaper, etc. So you must give a title for that. Then draw the vertical and horizontal axis. Vertical axis called as y-axis, the horizontal axis called as x-axis. They meet each other at a point called O, and label the horizontal axis. For example, horizontal axis is called by the name of the paper, like Vijayavani, Udayavani, Karnaprabha, etc. And the names of papers where the bars will be like Vijayavani, and then Prajavani, Udayavani, Indian Express, Hindu, etc. Label the vertical axis, means number of papers, how much papers is being sold, that you must write, and that you decide by the scale. So you must take a suitable scale depending on the number. Okay, that is how a bar graph is drawn. Now let us try to work out bar graph. So this is what is called as y-axis, and for every centimeter a mark is made. Okay, and you have to write it. This is called x-axis, horizontal, and they meet at a point called O here. So it is going like this, it is going like this, horizontal. And as now just now told, you have to write newspapers on the horizontal line or x-axis, and on the y-axis you must write number of papers. These are the number of papers that is being sold out for distribution. So this goes like this, number of papers like this, and names of papers like this. And then what you must do, you must write the names of the different papers. So this is a number. The scale is for every 1 unit or 1 centimeter is equal to 200 papers. So 200, 400 like that, you have to write up to 1800, but that is a maximum. So must see what is the number of maximum number of papers that is being distributed. Coming to x-axis, you have Vijayavani here. The first is called as Vijayavani, second is Udayavani, Prajavani, Indian Express, Hindu, the Hindu. And why this is about half a centimeter, that is a breadth of the rectangle, and this is the length, this is decided length. So you have to draw this is what is called as vertical columns or bars. So this is the bar diagram of Vijayavani. Vijayavani is 1800 papers are being distributed in that particular town. Coming to Udayavani, it is 1000 papers. So for 1000, you must draw a line. It's a rough line just to find out where it stops. Then come to Prajavani. Prajavani is how much? 1200. So for 1200, you must draw a rough line and you must draw a rectangle. Of course, all must be of the same width. Then coming to Indian Express, it is 800. So from here you must draw a vertical column of up to 800. Coming to Hindu, that is 1100. So 1100 you must draw this one. So this is how the bar graph is drawn. Sometimes they draw like this also, but this looks very beautiful. Okay, so this is one way of representing the data, frequency data or a group data, and that gives, by looking at itself we can make out which is maximum. Here Vijayavani is distributed maximum, which is minimum. Indian Express is minimum. You can make out, is it not? So like that you can analyze. On this basis you can improve the sales also, because by seeing the interest of the people we can make out. So we can get some results also out of it. Okay. Now coming to the another way of representing, that is called histogram. In histogram, it is a vertical graph with no space between the bars. In the previous case you have seen space. If there is no space, that is called as histogram. Another way of presenting the data. The classes of the group data are taken along the horizontal axis, namely x-axis, respective class frequencies on the vertical axis using a suitable scale on each axis. So as we have done earlier, but only change here is the rectangles now will be attached to each other, one thing. Secondly, you should write the corresponding details on the x-axis or y-axis. Okay. Now let us see how to draw. For each class, a rectangle is constructed with the base as the width of the class interval. So width of the class interval is shown in the x-axis, and height is determined from the class frequencies, frequency on the y-axis. Areas of rectangles are proportional to the frequencies of their respective classes. So area of the rectangle are proportional to the frequencies of their respective classes. So here they are all joined to each other, and that is the difference between the bar diagram and the histogram. Now let us see how to draw it. We will take an example. The following is the frequency distribution of marks obtained by 20 students in a class test. Draw a histogram of the data. So here you see, other day we were studying about inclusive series and exclusive series. Remember? In this you see, this is a exclusive series. So here 20 to 30 is the first class interval. Like that it goes up to 70, 80. All these class intervals should be on the x-axis, and number of students, what you call frequency, should be on the y-axis. So if you draw a histogram, this is what is called a histogram. Here marks obtained is drawn on the x-axis and the number of students in the y-axis, and these rectangles represent the data in that form. Okay, for example 20 to 31. So in the line of 1 you must come like this, you must draw a rough line and then you must attach to this. So this continues like that. Then 30 to 40 is 3. For the line of 3, 30 to 40. Then 40 to 50 is 1, again 1. Next 50 to 60 is 6. So you must draw a rough figure using a scale and get that. Okay, that is 50 to 60. 60 to 70 is 4. On the line of 4 you must draw a horizontal line. Then 70 to 80 is 5. Then join all this. This is a beautiful graph showing the frequency distribution of marks of 20 students in a class test. So what does it show? It shows that the boys who scored 50 to 60 are maximum. See, this is maximum, highest. And 40 to 50 and 20 to 30 are minimum. Only one boy between 20 to 30. 40 to 50 also only one boy. So many number of students got 6 students got 50 to 60. By looking at the graph, we can arrive at the results. Okay. So I think you understood what is the difference between the bar diagram and the histogram. In histogram, each rectangle is attached to other because it is a continuous series, and you must take the horizontal axis as marks, number of students as the y-axis. They meet at a point called vertex. So here this is another way. The third way is one more way of that is called as frequency polygon. That is nothing but again histogram only. You can do by two methods, using histogram or without using histogram. A frequency polygon is a graph constructed by using lines to join the midpoints of each interval. For every class interval, you must take the midpoint. The heights of the points represent the frequencies, the height of everything. And a frequency polygon can be created from the histogram or by calculating the midpoint of the class intervals from the frequency distribution table. Midpoints means must take average of the first and the last divided by 2. For example, if the frequency distribution is 0 to 9, then the midpoint can be got by 0 plus 9 by 2, that is 4.5. That is the midpoint. If the class interval is say 0 to 4, then midpoint is 0 plus 4 by 2. That will be 4 by 2, that will be equal to 2. That is how the midpoints are got. So, joining the midpoints, marking the midpoints on the graph, and joining the midpoints will give you what is called as frequency polygon. What do you mean polygon? Polygon is a plane figure having more than 3 sides. If your 3 sides are there, it is called as triangle. 4 sides, quadrilateral. 5 sides, pentagon. 6 sides, hexagon, and so on. All these are called as polygons. They will have what is called as vertices. So that if you bring it in a graph like this will be called as frequency polygon, because we are taking frequencies and the class interval are taken in the x-axis, frequency are taken in the y-axis. And lastly, add 2 classes each. This is what you have done, with 0 frequency preceding the lowest class and succeeding the highest class. So that is what is to be done in case of frequency polygon. Let us work out one problem on this. So 140 starts. So what shall we do now? Then you must make one what is called as small clink. Small gap is to be given. That is what is called clink here. Here x-axis is drawn or horizontal line is drawn starting from 140. So previous to that there will be 130 to 140. So 130 to 140 midpoint is 135. So from 135 for every centimeter you are marking this 135, 140, 145 like that up to 185 because 170, 180 is there. Next will be 180 to 190, 185. So it ends at 185. And then the vertical number of students show the frequencies. So here the first case, no, that is 70. So 140 to 145 is 70. So here it comes 70. Then you have 160. 160 is here. Then here 135. 135 is here. Midpoint. Then you have 20. This is 20. So like that all midpoints are taken. The same histogram, but here difference is you are taking midpoint of the rectangles and that are to be joined. Now you get a beautiful figure called A, B, C, D, E, F. This figure A, B, C, D, E, F. Last point is F there. Starting point is A here. This is what is called as frequency polygon and it is done on the basis of what is called as histogram. Okay. So heights in centimeter taken in the x-axis, that is nothing but the class intervals. Frequencies are taken in the y-axis, that is what is you see here in this. Now that has to be, you must draw a histogram first, then take the midpoint 135 to 140 midpoint is taken here. Similarly 145 midpoint, 140 to 150 midpoint is 145. How do you get 145? 140 is the lower limit, higher limit is 150. Divide by 2. How much it comes? 290 by 2. How much? 145. That is how you got 145 here. Similarly here 150 plus 160 by 2 means 155. Similarly 165, 175, 185 it ends. Here it ends with 135. So that is how the frequency polygon is drawn. This may be drawn without the histogram also. Let us see how it will be done in the next figure. Here the scale is 1 unit equal to 20 students. Here on the y-axis, this is number of students 20, 40, 60, 80 for every 1 centimeter. Same width what you have taken here should be taken here also. That will be, say here maximum is 160. So that means 8 centimeter it comes. Like that you mark here, then draw the histogram and then frequency polygon. Same thing without using histogram. This question is without using histogram. How to draw it? Marks scored by 100 students in an examination. Here the total is 15, 45, 85. So number of students here it is equal to 100. These are the marks scored in this class intervals that should be represented in the graph as frequency polygon. Now you see the change here. In the earlier case we had histogram, and we have taken the midpoints of them. Now midpoint is to be marked. For example, the first class interval is 50 to 59. So 50 to 59 is the first class interval. The midpoint of that will be 50 plus 59 by 2. That will be 109 by 2. That is 54.5. That is taken. So before that it will be 40 to 50. That is 44.5. And then comes 64.5, 74.5, like that. It ends in 104.5 because 100 to 109. So must take one extra. And now you have to mark the points. So here it is 5. For 5 you have to mark it one dot. Then it is 10, another dot. Then 30. So 30 is here. Then 40, it is here. Then 15 here. So join all this. So you can name it also like A, B, C, D, E, F, ends with G. So this A, B, C, D, I think all of you know A, B, C, D. We have studied in class 5. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G is called as frequency polygon. Polygon because there are how many points? 7 points in this. So more than 3 points, any figure with more than 3 points are called polygons. And as this is referred to the frequencies, we call it as frequency polygon. Here the speciality is that we are not using histogram. So we are not using histogram. And how do you mark it? We marked it with the midpoints of the every class interval, and that midpoints are joined. Okay, then we get what is called as frequency polygon. I think all of you understood this. You work out yourself. Okay, now we will see some assignment. Fill in the blanks. In histogram, the class intervals are generally take along dash. Histogram, the class frequencies are generally taken along dash. Means you must write axis. Which axis? Or in columns, you can say vertical column, horizontal column, like that. In histogram, the area of the rectangles are proportional to dash of the respective classes. Histogram is a graphical representation of dash. So you have to fill up the blanks. That is the first question. Second question, daily earnings of 26 workers are given below. There are 26 workers here. 12, 18, 24. So these 26 workers, 27 workers. So the 27 workers are given below. You have to write the histogram to represent the data. So you must just now you have taught it, no? Like that you work out, okay? Then you have draw a frequency polygon for the data in question number 2 by drawing a histogram. So you are asked to draw what is called as frequency polygon without drawing a histogram. One is with the drawing histogram. This is the first question. Coming to the second one, without drawing a histogram. Then the figure is called as frequency polygon. This is the homework. Okay, we will come prepared in the next class. Okay, so use pencil and scale only. Don't draw the lines in pens. Okay, because it should be accurate. Graphs should be always written in the pencil and scale. Okay, all the best. Very happy. Thank you.